Adonai הטוב שמך ולך נאה להודות ברוך אתה אדוני הטוב שמך ולך נאה להודות.
Welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah, which on Fridays doubles as thought for Shabbat. And on this Shabbat, my thoughts are heavy, as is my heart. For this last week, we've watched the terror and the violence, the mayhem in the cities and streets of Israel and the Palestinian territories. These issues are nuanced and they're complicated to fully understand. Israel on the verge of another election, Palestinians canceling their elections, legal fights in the court system, all very complicated issues and histories to think about and to wrestle with. But let me tell you something that is very simple to understand. That Hamas is a terrorist organization whose sole purpose in its charter is to wipe Israel, the Jewish state, off the face of the earth. There's no nuance about that. There's nothing we need to understand more than that. In fact, in 2005, Israel unilaterally withdrew from the Gaza Strip. Then 2 years later, Hamas was elected, quote unquote, to run the Gaza Strip by its own people. And before that and now, those people, those very people who have every right to prosper and to be safe, live in abject poverty, whose rights, of which they have none, don't exist, whose leaders encourage violence and death over peace and tranquility and trying to find solutions to complicated problems. It's very simple to understand that Israel has a right to defend herself when attacked. If you read the newspapers, if you listen to the news, it will say something to the effect of, Israel, the aggressor, again, bombed Gaza. Well, what they don't write is the first paragraph to say that Hamas has launched almost 2,000 rockets into Israel in the last week. 2,000. I mean, it's an incredible thing to think about. So my heart is heavy. I want there to be solutions. I think we can argue with the policies of the Israeli government, but we don't argue over the idea that Israel should exist as a safe Jewish homeland for its people, and at the same time, try to find ways and avenues and solutions for the Palestinian people to have safety and security. But they must have leaders who also want that. And so tonight at Shabbat, we pray. We pray for the peace of Jerusalem. We pray for wisdom to come to all of the leaders, for us to even find leaders in some of these spaces and places. The other unnuanced fact that I will just mention again is that Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East, and she is not perfect, but she's darn good. And compared to her neighbors, she is exceptional. And so, as an American, as a Jew, as a Zionist, as somebody who loves the land and the people of Israel and feels a deep connection, my heart and my prayer go to all my brothers and sisters of all lands and all people who love peace, that they find safety and peace and a Shabbat Shalom on this Sabbath. Please join us tonight at 7:30 for services, either online or there's still some space available, so just make a reservation this afternoon and we will welcome you at Shabbat services. We all be well, stay safe. Shabbat Shalom.